It is now 1:30. I call to order the IT and Equalization Committee meeting to order on Thursday, February 5th of 2026. I trust that you've had an opportunity to read the minutes of December 4th, 2025. So I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
There are no additions or corrections. I move they be accepted as submitted.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those same sign, we approve the minutes. Thank you. Now on to IT, Finance Report.
You will find the IT division of the capital fund in your packet. You will see that again, no current year expenses have hit this division. However, moving down the agenda, we will start changing that if all those projects are approved for the capital project. A balance available for future projects in this fund is just under 490,000. If there's any questions, I will attempt to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions of the Finance Report? Hearing none, seeing none, moving on to IT Report, Director Ricker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I just want to give a quick brief of what's coming up for projects this year. Along with our day-to-day operations, we're currently looking at our 2026 project roadmap. A few of the key projects we'll be looking at this year will be a project for our annual computer replacement, project to finish up the final block of wireless access points that were not replaced in 2025, a large server host project for much needed new hosts, along with cost mitigation from current host software, a project for the replacement of our court audio computers, and a project for initial implementation of Microsoft 365 and selected users and groups. Do you have any questions on any of that? More details for those projects will come as we go along.
Thank you, Director Ricker. Any questions? Hearing none, thank you so much. On to communications. And we will be going over some requests later involving Director Ricker as I stall for our wonderful communications expert, Jennifer Ambrose.
The communications report is in your packet. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this except for a few highlights. One, as you'll see on here, all the metrics are up on all of our social platforms, but quite significantly. A lot of that is due to a campaign that we ran in December. These are stats from both December and January. A lot of that is due to a campaign we ran in December for volunteer recruitment for the Department on Aging, and you'll hear more about that in a minute. Also through here, you will see under video, these are our Facebook videos. Normally this number sits about 7,000 and it's about 10 times that right now. That's again, we did some videos for the Department on Aging recruitment campaign. As also I did one after the final Bridging the Gap meeting in December to kind of do a wrap up on where we were at with that with Commissioner Martis and talk about next steps for the future. And that was shared on Facebook as well. So that's why that number went up so significantly. The other thing we should highlight is that we added to our constant contact account, which is what we use to send out our mass emails. We added a text communication tool to it to be able to send mass text messages out. Now we do have that ability through Civic Plus for people who sign up for our news flashes and alerts and things like that. You can sign up to get them by email, by text message, or by both, so they can get those. But this is a way to gather people to a very specific list to communicate with just those people for this very short time specific purpose. And the reason that we're doing that is for circuit court for a very large trial that they're having right now in order to communicate with those potential jury members as they are getting sent home after the first round of questioning. They're given a handout that I created that has a QR code on it. They can scan that, sign up to be on that text message list, and then we send out a message letting them know when they need to come back. So that way they're not having to continuously call. And then we're anticipating we'll send a couple more of those out, as we get closer throughout that process. So we added that in January. It's worked very well. And then we'll see how that goes in the future. Does anybody have any questions on anything in the report before I go on to the campaign wrap up? No? All right, I thought it would be more interesting to kind of do a wrap up of that volunteer recruitment campaign. It was a very short campaign that we ran, but very interesting. And we have some good results to report to you. So the problem, what happened is we've had a growing demand for meal deliveries within Lenawee County as our population ages and we have more people moving into that. And more seniors that are homebound and need meal delivery service, that demand has grown. And we know that, seeing that we have, moved to that centralized kitchen and service and things like that, those numbers are not going down anytime soon. We had a problem this winter specifically of some volunteer roles going unfilled. Unlike some of our other counties that have paid meal delivery drivers, all of ours are volunteer across the county. And what happens often in the wintertime is some of those are snowbirds and they go south for the winter. What happened to us specifically in December is we had quite a few that had personal situations or medical situations or things like that when they were just unable to deliver as they normally were. And the situation got really dire really quick for the Department on Aging. They had a very immediate need in December to fill some of these meal delivery routes. And their traditional recruiting methods just weren't working. They were running into a lot of roadblocks. And so the cry for help came out and said, what can we do? Their staff time was being stretched very thin. Some of their staff in the main office were delivering every day and sometimes 2 to 3 routes a day. So it was a real problem for them. And I said, well, let's get going. So the goal for this campaign was to increase volunteer inquiries, applications, drivers, and to increase them quickly because it was a very immediate dire need. To reach new audiences digitally because traditionally that is not how they have recruited. But also to make volunteering feel accessible and meaningful because we're reaching out to a new group of people that we normally don't reach out to. And to most importantly, do it with minimal cost and staff burden. When the email first came over, it was, we don't have a budget for this to do some advertising, but we absolutely need to fill this. So tell me what we need and we will go through and do it. And basically what I told her is, hang on a little bit, let me cook, let me try this for a little bit and see what we can do without spending any money. The strategy that I came up with was a digital heavy recruitment campaign with no paid placement. I wanted to try it organically without paying for any advertising to see if we could solve the problem without spending any money. I knew it needed to have a very clear call to action. We needed consistent messaging across all of the platforms that we were working with. And I wanted to have a very simple tracking mechanism to be able to measure results when we were done. So what tools and platforms I used, our website, we did quite a few things on the website and we'll talk about that in a little bit, everything we did on there. But Civic Plus is our website provider. Social media platforms, we used Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, which used to be called Twitter, Threads, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. And I manage all of those under one platform, but I do have to go actually into the platforms to do some engagement things with those. Email communication through Constant Contact and media engagement, as well as we did some printed media pieces. What we created, the deliverables, we did a website landing page with an embedded form, sent out a press release, did a news flash, which is done through the website, and that sends out to everyone who's subscribed to those news flashes. We did a 60-second update, went in there through Constant Contact, as well as I sent out a second email with just that information to those that had subscribed to the Department on Aging list. An intense social media campaign that included 12 photo posts as well as a ride-along video. We got extensive media coverage off of the press release. We had 2 television news stories, All the local papers covered it and our local radio stations covered it. We produced some printed flyers, which we turned into PDFs to be able to distribute digitally, as well as did some on-site printing to hand out in our senior centers. And here's some examples of what things look like. This is what, I think if I move my mouse over, yep. This is what the website landing page looks like right here. And then this is what the form looks like. One of the things I did different on this form is I added a thing for I can deliver to this area. Typically in the past, when we've needed drivers, it's just in the Adrian area. That was not the case this time. We needed them kind of all over the county. So when you clicked on that drop down, you could pick which area you lived in. So if you're in Hudson, I can deliver in Hudson, or I can deliver in Blissfield. The other thing that we added here is this follow-up preference, which I thought is very important. And underneath it, I might get that from here, but it says that we're going to get back with you about next steps. Tell us the best way to do that. And if you click that drop down, it would say, call me, email me, or text me. Because as we know, depending on what generation you were privileged to be born in, you have different ways you would like to be contacted. I know if my children saw this and were like, hey, I'd like to volunteer, they will never answer their phone when it rings. Never, ever, ever. They would like to be texted. I know my mother would like a phone call and she would like to talk to you about it and ask some questions. So we added that. This is what the press release looked like that went out. This is what the news flash looks like. And we added this, you would see this a lot, this Deliver Joy this December. It was there on a lot of things. And it was also, I added to the main page of the website, actually any page you went to on our website over that 2 weeks, you got a splash screen that said Deliver Joy this December and said we are urgently seeking volunteers. And then it took you back to that landing page. This is what it looked like in the 60-second update. These are some of the social media posts that we did. So the messaging changed a little bit from post to post, but we had a consistent message throughout. We were able to tie it into the holiday, but also try to solicit different responses from different people and different motivating factors. So if somebody would see something like, oh, Santa needs my help, you know, they're going to be more likely to respond to that. Or again, my mother would have loved this thing happening right here. That's kind of her vibe. So tried to mix it up a little bit, but also keep it consistent across the board and have a very clear call to action on it. This was the video that we did, and I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but I can play a little. It doesn't want to play. All right, well, if you would like to see it, you can go to our TikTok account and watch it, but it's a very long video in which I went out with the deputy director and we delivered meals. And I basically asked him questions in the ride along, like carpool karaoke, and kind of, you know, asked him questions and he answered them. And it's interspersed with video of us actually delivering the meals. These were the two news stories that got picked up by the two television stations. In them, you will see many of our staff preparing the meals, as well as some great interviews from Ms. Rivotero, our Department on Aging Director. These were the printables that we created that people could print off and take. And I did this 2-up version. For those churches that still do bulletin inserts, not all of them do, but quite a few still do them, that we were able to get those to them so they can take those, cut them in half and put them in their bulletins in church on Sundays. The timeline, the email came on the end of that first week of December, and thought about it, worked on the strategy that Friday. On Monday, I had that website landing page built with the form. A press release was created, it got approved, and we sent it out Tuesday morning on the 9th. The social media campaign also began on the 9th and it ran for about 2 weeks. Results. The newsflash was seen 288 times. The TikTok video was seen over 1,000 times, had 57 likes, 2 comments. We got 30 new followers just off that one video and 5 different shares. Off of all of the social media content, it was seen almost 57,000 times. We had over 1,800 engagements and 267 post-link clicks, which means they clicked through back to that landing page. The landing page in total had 490 page views. And the big results of this is on the form, we had 79 people fill out the form and say, I am willing to be a volunteer. On top of that, they had 30 phone calls come into the office. So 99 total volunteers came out of that campaign. In addition, Ms. Repetero gave me this information. They also had 1 municipality and 4 county departments that stepped in to assist. Some volunteers jumped right in and others opted to ride along with a veteran driver. Through the entire process, they increased their volunteer pool by nearly 30 individuals. Some of those opting for regular routes and other helping when the need is greatest. But more importantly, what it's done for their department, staff are feeling less stress. Volunteers are happier and engaged when they don't feel so overloaded because some of these volunteers were delivering multiple routes a day to try to help out. Veteran drivers are taking new drivers under their wing and offering support and tips to be the best. And their most dedicated subs are getting some much deserved days away. And office staff are returning to delivering meals with joy rather than forced obligation. What worked? We learned that messaging that focused on impact outperformed generic asks. So just saying we need volunteer drivers doesn't necessarily work, but when we talk about how important it is and what a difference it makes in the lives of individuals, your neighbors, your family, things like that, that really makes a big impact. Clear campaign visuals that created consistency. And I think this one was the most important, having an easy sign up that was accessible 24/7. In the past, we always say, call the Department on Aging, call the Department on Aging. Well, they're only open office hours between 8 and 4:30. If you're seeing that TikTok or that Facebook post at 8:30 at night or 10 o'clock at night or 2 a.m., you're like, I would like to help. You're remembering to call, take the time and call a phone number the next day is just not going to happen. So having a form that people can fill out right then and say, yes, I would like to help. Here's how you can contact me. That really worked. What we learned. We probably need to better prepare for the volunteer responses. No one expected to get as many responses as we did. I think they realized they needed a volunteer to help handle the number of responses that they got in. And I think they did have to ask for a little bit of extra help in order to contact the number of people that volunteered. So if we get into the situation again, we would probably better prepare and staff up with some temporary volunteer help in order to able to contact those volunteers when they get back. Doing that form and putting the things on the form really reduced the manual staff work needed. We didn't have people answering all the phone calls. We also were able to spread it out. So if people said, I'm interested in volunteering in Hudson, immediately that could get sent to the Hudson Senior Center director to follow up on. So it reduced the amount of staff work people needed. And most importantly, we learned Lenawee continues to be a community that steps up when there's a need. We went out and we said, hey, we need help. And the community really, really responded. Any questions?
Any questions, Commissioner Collins?
No question, just a comment, but I'm amazed, impressed at one, how quickly you put this together. The responses are generated, even more for the creativity you used in making a system. That's an outstanding program. You're to be commended greatly for this because I think it was a hell of a job.
Thank you. I was very proud of that work in December. So.
Well, thank you. I have a few questions. Administrator Murphy. Constant contact, when you said that those go out for clarity, that is emails?
Yes, so through Constant Contact, I primarily use that for our mass email communication. Depending on what list they sign up for, there's the 60-second update that goes out once a week. There is a Department on AJ newsletter list, and that goes out once a month. But occasionally,
Those are all emails.
those are all emails, correct?
And because I'm advancing in age and out of touch even more and more every day. Don't have TikTok. I see what the Threads thing is. What is, but more specifically, what is Threads and what is Blue Sky?
So
I know, of course, no, but I'm just for all the audience members and the people at home.
Threads and Blue Sky are actually both things that came out of when Twitter was purchased and before it became X. A lot of people were very angry with some of the changes that came on the new platform X. And so both of those were birthed from that, from people I think that were laid off from that platform and went to other social media companies. Blue Sky functions very much like Twitter did and still does. Frankly, it's the same thing. Threads is owned by Meta. So Facebook and Instagram, that's probably why you see more of Threads because they advertise to you through both Facebook and Instagram if you are on them and they really want you to try Threads.
Here's a fun
It's
fact.
Twitter.
Here's a fun fact for everyone. I believe Chairman Van Dorn is hooked up with Threads. You have to check your Facebook account, but I believe you like Threads. Just so you know how hip our chairman is.
We got Lenawee County is on Threads.
So, all right, Administrator Murphy.
So Jen, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing that to everyone's attention because I don't know that everyone fully grasps the work that you're doing on behalf of all the county departments. As a core central service office, Jen is at the request of many of our departments for many different types of responsibilities. Another area that we have found a surprising success in is when we have vacancies in very specific critical positions where we have had difficulty getting qualified applications. Through Jen's work, putting quick little campaigns together to get information out to help a department, I will say that I have literally had departments almost giddy over the applications that they are getting as a result of her efforts out on social media. So not only, I mean, she is basically responsible for every single department's social media account. She's updating the website. She's working on blogs. She's doing all kinds of things. And this is just one example of things that she does. But I loved the presentation. I know you put a lot of work into it. And I'm glad that the commissioners here are able to see what the work is that you're doing.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Jennifer. And, you know, as technology continues to evolve, I mean, when email came out, it was like, wow, this thing's amazing, the internet, email. And for 30 years, that's what we had. And then all of a sudden, you know, we had Facebook come out, 15 years ago or so. And it was like, wow, look at all this cutting edge social media. And now in the last, 2 years, now there's 5 or 6 of those things, all different things. So there's just more and more expanding universe that you and your team and the county team is able to engage with the public, advertise, recruit, have a forward-looking, outwardly facing communication. So thank you so much for the extra work. And you could see how energetic, different demographics and youthful, all those sort of communications were that really makes everyone out there in the universe know how cool it is to be in Lenawee County. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With communications being over, we have onto department requests.
Your first request is to close Project Tech 2502, which is the 2025 computer replacement program from the capital improvement plan. We do have remaining funds in that project of 45209. They will remain within the IT division of the capital fund. Again, the request is to close Project Tech 2502, which was the 2025 computer replacement program.
So moved.
Or
Motion by Collins, supported by Tillotson. In discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We have closed. On to request number 2.
The next request is again, a part of your capital plan, and this is the Cisco phone refresh. This is your 4 of 5 of that lease. So the request before you is to, is the request for $42,000 to start the project of the, lease for year 4 of 5, for the the CIP Cisco phone refresh.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Tillson, supported by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye, saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. On to request 3.
Request 3, again, is a capital improvement plan request, and this is for the Cisco switch refresh. And this, the request before you is for $70,000 for the 2026 Cisco switch refresh.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. On to the next request.
This is, again, a capital improvement plan request for $60,000, and this is for the 2026 computer replacement for employees within Illinois County. So the request before you is to authorize the project 2026 computer replacement for $60,000 out of the capital plan.
So moved. Support.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. On to the next request.
The next request was again approved under the capital improvement plan for $20,000, and this is to replace computer products within the courtrooms for the 9 audio recording computers that are located in the judicial building. And again, the request before you is to start that project at $20,000 from your capital improvement plan.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Collins. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Great job, Deputy Administrator Elliott. Moving along now, not to be outdone, our equalization report.
Good afternoon. So our studies have been uploaded to the state and everything, they reviewed it and everything's went well. Border review starts the week of March 9th for all the taxpayers to come in and complain about their values. The tentative factors will be published in February 12th's paper. And then I'll be sending those out to the local supervisors for their boards or review. The organizational meeting for the board review is March 3rd for the assessors to submit the roles to the board and for the boards to go over that. Pretty much, I have to have the change notices to the printers on Tuesday, the 10th, so that they will be out in the mail prior to the 14 days prior to the March board review. That's what we're working on right now.
Any questions of the equalization report? Oh, thank you so much. Is there any other business? Brought to us at this time, any other business? Hearing none, seeing none, moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.